Okay, everyone, we're going to move on to section 1.3, 1.4, which is called setting a price. This is actually kind of an interesting part because this is where we take the knowledge, the skills we've been practicing with percentages and percentages of numbers, etc., to help us understand how prices kind of go up and how prices go down. We look at something called markup when prices, essentially go up and why. We look at how taxes are included. We also look at sales. And this is one thing that I've really found when I've been speaking with some students over my, years teaching. Some students, when they go to the till and something is 5% off or 20% off, or there's a tax or etc., they truly have no idea how to calculate that amount. So as far as I can tell, this is one of the most important things that you can be taught in math, is essentially how much money are you truly going to have to pay? Because quite often the price that you see on a pair of jeans, for example, is not what you actually pay. You've got to be able to know how much you're getting off, how much is going on, etc., etc. So I'm just going to kind of read a little bit of this here to you. It says, we're going to start with markup. When individuals have a business, they often purchase items wholesale and then sell them at a higher price to make profit. The price that items are sold at is called retail price, whereas the amount that is added to the retail price is called markup. So for example, if let's say something in the store, let's say you walk into the store and you want to pay $100 for it. Well, you know that the store you're buying it from, they're making money off of that. So what you pay is called retail price. And what they've done is they've marked it up. So the store has bought it from someone. Let's say they bought it for $50. That's their wholesale price. Then they've marked it up $50 to $100, which is what you pay. So they make $50 off of it. Now, there's also sales taxes are also added to the retail price and vary from province to province. There are three kinds of taxes. There's the GST, Goods and Services Tax. There's a PST, Provincial Sales Tax, and a Harmonized Sales Tax. Now, at this point in time, we do not have a PST in Alberta. Of course, there are different provinces throughout Canada that do have a PST, and we have GST, which affects us. So essentially, quite often, the price, if we see a price tag, we go to the till and it's more, and that's because there's taxes tacked on to what we are paying. So essentially, this is number one that we're going to learn. This was number two, was taxes, and number three is when you have a sale price, whereas that's the good one where the price actually goes down. Let me show you some examples here of how to calculate this. So just try to keep this all, well, remember, you can pause this, go back anytime you want, which is really, really nice, because that way you won't get confused and you can kind of, slow things down a little bit and go from there. So let's do a markup example. The markup on a bicycle in a sporting goods store is 25%. The bicycle's wholesale price is $450. What is the markup in dollars? So essentially what they're saying there is they want to know how much are they marking it up. In other words, that would say, what is 25? I guess I could put a question mark, or I could put the word what. What is 25% of $450 is essentially what this question is saying. So just like we've done before, you would take 25%, change that to a decimal, and now you do your multiplication based on the total. So 450 times 0.25, and that's going to give us a value of $112.50. That's the markup. So the store bought it for $450. They said, we are going to mark it up 25% of the value. You got to figure out what 25% of the value is. It's $112.50. The retail price, well, that's just where you take your wholesale price, you add your markup, which is $112.50. That gives you a grand total of $562.50. It always makes you think it would be really, really nice to pay for the wholesale price, because we certainly don't pay for that. So that's how you can see how stores make money. They mark items up, and then we pay the retail price. Okay, so that's basically how this goes. There is one little cheat here you could do if you want to. It's a no, I'll just give it to you here. If you only have to calculate the retail price of a markup, you see taxes come into play, and that's where this is an issue. But you could mess around this and you could say, well, they paid $450. Well, what percentage of the bike did they pay? They paid 100%, the store. They're adding on 25%. Well, that gives you 125% total. Well, just like we kind of did in the previous lesson, you could go 125%, make that a decimal is 1.25, sorry. Then take your decimal, 1.25, and times it by 450, and that still will give you the grand total of 562.50. The reason this example right here maybe is not as favorable is because we're going to move on to questions now that involve tax. You see, this only works when you have to work with just the retail price and the markup. I do think, generally speaking, this example right here is probably your easier go-to. It's a process that should work over and over and over. Anyway, we'll try another example now. This is taxes now. So you see, let's say you live in Saskatchewan, you actually have two taxes applied to your purchases. You have GST, which is 5%, and you have PST, which is 6%. So you have to figure out, well, if you go and buy something, where does your price end up? The trick is you have to calculate them both separately, and you have to calculate them based off of your regular price. So you see, essentially, you have to figure out what is 5% of this number, that gets added on, and what is 6% of this number, and it gets added on. So what you have to do is you have to make a kind of a little heading here, GST. So that's 5%. So we're going to change that to a decimal of 0.05. And we're going to times that by the 45.89. So our GST amount is $2.29. So that's what the government collects in taxes, the federal government. Then you have the PST, provincial sales tax, which should go to the provincial government. In this case, it is 6%, which is 0.06, times our base price, $45.89. That gives us a value of $2.75. Well, now we got to figure out our grand total. And yes, in Saskatchewan, you would have to go with $45.89. Then you would add the GST. Then you would add the PST. So the price actually that you would have to pay would be $50.93. Now again, if you live in Alberta, this is the category that we do not have. So just so you know, if this item was bought in Saskatchewan, that $2.75 PST would not exist. So it actually would cost less money to purchase this item in Alberta. Finally here, we'll go on to a sales example. Again, remember, I'm going through three main categories here fairly quickly. You may want to be pausing this, watching it again, practicing certain sections. But I'm trying to give you the basic skills here that you need to, kind of be successful. Let's look at the one good one here. We got sales price, and this is good because finally the price should be going down. So Samantha wants to buy a TV, and it's $675 and some change. The lady tells her that if she waits a week, it's going to be on sale for 20% off. So how much money will she save? Now, again, I can think of probably two ways that we can do this. I'm not sure if I want to keep showing you both ways. Nonetheless, you'll notice there's no tax here, which is kind of a nice break. We're not calculating tax. But what you would have to do here, everybody, is we're taking 20% off. So we have to figure out, the question really becomes, what is 20% of this $675.95? Well, how do you do that? You take 20%, change it to a decimal, which is 0.20, times that by your amount of the item, And that's going to give you, let's see here, that should be $135.19. So that's 20% of the TV. That's awesome. That means it's going to come off. So if you want to know how much the price is going to be in 1 week or whatever it is, you have to go $675.95, take away the $135.19, and that gives you a price of $540.76. So, as this lesson kind of comes almost to an end here, I want you to know that we looked at 3 things here so far. We looked at markup, we've looked at taxes, and now we've looked at savings. Okay? So you can see there's a whole bunch of things going on here, and I really am encouraging you to watch this step by step and try some practice questions. There's one more example for us to try, and it's just loading here, sorry. And this is basically going to be kind of putting everything together, okay? So this is it's not a difficult question, it's just maybe a few more things that we have to keep in mind. So it says here, Shelley works at an optical store in Whitehorse, Yukon. Her store is selling last year's glasses at a savings of 30%. What will she pay for the glasses that were originally priced at $149 if 5% GST is charged? So this question is a little bit special because we have a discount, then we have taxes, and you'll be happy to know the rule is, there is a rule here, and this applies obviously to real life. The rule is this, okay? Taxes are applied after the discount. And just so you know, you could calculate that if you want, but that does save a person money. Whoops. You would rather pay the GST on the discounted amount, not the full amount. So step 1 is you got to figure out your discount. Let's do that. How much money is coming off? So we know it is 30% off. So 30%, that now is 0.3 times the regular price of $149, and that's going to give you, let's see here, I had to figure that out, 1 second. That's going to give you 0.3 times 149. That is a savings of $44.70, which is awesome. So let's figure out this really should be discount amount. Let's figure out our discount price. Sorry, there shouldn't be a T there. I won't be sloppy, I'll erase that. Discount price. So how do you figure that out? Well, you take your start, which was $149, take away the $44.70, and that's going to give you, let's see here, $149, take away $44.70, that gives you $104.30, which is awesome. So that's the discount. But now we have to apply our GST. We got to figure out, well, we got to pay tax on this. So essentially what's going to happen now is we're going to go tax amount. Now GST is set at 5%. 5% of your discounted price. So take 5%, change that to a decimal of 0.05, multiply it by your new price of 104.30. That gives you about $5.22 getting added on. Then calculate your final price. And your final price is going to be your discounted $104 plus the GST. So all you do is you go 104.30 plus $5.22. Whoop, that's a dollar sign, and that gives you 109.52. I have to really emphasize to everyone, this question is not difficult, except there's multiple things going on. First, we had to calculate the discounted amount, and then we had to add on the GST. I really encourage everyone to watch this example over again and ensure that you can do it. It is vitally important. I'm going to give you some practice here now, but nonetheless, this is one of those lessons where maybe it wasn't the longest, but we did 3 or 4 things that were really key. We looked at how you do markup, wholesale, retail price. Then we looked at taxes. Then we looked at sales. And then we did a question that kind of combined sales and taxes together. You need to make sure you know how to do each one of those. We'll move on to some practice.